Noisy Pixel. What's up, nerds, and welcome to another episode of the Noisy Pixel podcast for the week of May 1st. We're on episode 59, and you know what that means. Only 10 more episodes before we get really immature.
Let's get
I'm your host, Brian Lee, and today I'm joined by the lovable Azario Lopez.
Hello, Brian.
The equally lovable Jake Yoder.
Hello.
And our lost but now found, the boy is back, Victor Aparicio.
Call me sir, god damn it.
Sir Victor Aparicio. How's everybody doing today?
Dude, it's hot. It's a hot day.
It's warming up. I've noticed that. I stepped outside for the first time in a month and I was like, wow, it's not cold anymore.
It sucks because now I'm not. Hold on. I was gonna say something bad, and then I learned that I should think before I talk. And that's exactly what I did.
Nice, good catch. We don't have an HR department, so you have to watch yourself. Okay.
I'll just say it now. When I masturbate, I have to take off all my clothes.
So do you keep your shirt on in most cases? Is that what you're saying?
He Winnie the Poohs it.
See, Azario, the thing is, you are the HR department, so you can say whatever the fuck you want.
I can say whatever I want.
That's great. And if we don't like it, we're fired. You know, that's how it goes.
Exactly.
So you have to watch.
Who you fuckers gotta complain to?
Oh man. Well, let's just say I'm glad that we don't have a brick and mortar office, and don't have to be in the same room as you guys. It's only cyberbullying, not real life bullying.
Yes. So there's
that. I guess let's just I don't know. I want to check in on Victor. He's been missing for a while. What have you been up to, Victor?
I've been poor, out of work, and having existential crises. But other than that, I've been great.
Corona is bummer summer. I'll tell you that.
Truly.
I know, like it's getting hotter, and everyone has to stay inside. I hope everyone has AC, but it's whatever.
You're thinking about the smaller people. That's really nice of you.
Yeah. But I got even more sadder the other day because
don't you write for a living?
More sadder. I got more sadder the other day because I beat Final Fantasy Remake. And I was just sort of disappointed in it. And I'm not gonna go screaming in the rafters on Twitter about it, but
this is your time. Scream to us.
That's okay.
Talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Let's not talk.
I have not.
Okay. All right.
We won't talk about it.
All right.
How about you, Jake? How's life treating you this week?
Oh, it's going. I'm doing a lot of nothing. I mean, I have finals next week, so preparing for that.
Oh, good luck.
What are you studying, Jake? I've been meaning to ask.
Journalism.
Oh, that's appropriate.
Good luck.
Right. I'm majoring in journalism and minoring in theater and Japanese.
You're gonna be the MVP of this website.
You found
the one with actual credentials.
You guys wait till I get this fucking bachelor, man. I'll own all of you.
Azario was talking to me, Brian, do you want to start a video game website? And I was like, I don't have any experience with that. And he's like, do you own a microphone? And I'm like, yeah, Blue Yeti, cool, you're hired. That's what he told me.
Do you have a good PC? Yeah, okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. The bar is
That's
very
all
low
it takes.
That's all it takes. All right. Well, let's jump into what people have been playing since the last episode. Who wants to get started? How about you, Azario?
I've been playing on the website right now is my Trials of Mana review, and this is a remake of the 1995 Super Famicom release. It also came out in the Collection of Mana on Nintendo Switch, so you can get it there, the first one. But this is a remake, and oh my god, like we go into these new modern games and we expect there to be like fusion systems and upgradable stuff and tons of quests and action to take on, side quests everywhere, like things to take up all of our time. But this was just a straightforward action RPG. You get little quests, you have a mission, yeah, sure. You can explore if you want and get treasure early, Each town you go to has better equipment. So every town you go to, you just go straight to the weapons and armor stores and upgrade. And it was just a fucking action RPG. Just one that you would play from the year 2000 or 1995 for this matter, and I loved it.
That's
I
good.
yeah, I thought it was great. They updated the systems that they needed to update. Kind of sucked that they took away the two-player mechanic. I can kind of see why with the direction of the battle system that they went. But when I think about games like the Tales of series, they have a similar layout where it's a 3D plane and characters just run around. Their excuse for this was that they didn't want it to be an online game. They wanted it to be a single-player experience. For that, I could have just been like, well, then just make it local only. But anyway, that was their excuse. Regardless, the game was great. Very straightforward. Took me 23 hours to completely beat. By the time this is posted, I can say that there is a new game plus, and there's extra story content after the credits. And if you are a Mana fan, I suggest you play the extra story content because it does some great things with the universe. So yeah, that I gave it a 9 out of 10. Go watch
Nice.
your video. And fucking girls, let me tell you something, Brian. The fucking girls in this game, fucking hot. I'm not talking about Charlotte, okay? She's like 10. I'm talking about the older ones. Reese and Angela, fucking spicy. Oh man. Taking a drink of water after that one. And they don't undersell it too, because every class you get, they just lose more of their clothing. It's like Square Enix, you
Oh my
knew,
gosh.
They know what they're doing.
you knew Square, and I love you. For
The only thing they would need to do at that point is just like add an achievement where you like unlock the skimpiest outfit and you'd be like, you did it or something is the name of the achievement.
The skimpiest outfit is basically just a metal bathing suit. And it's funny, there's one scene in the game where you're in the snow and Charlotte's like, why are you guys aren't you? She was like, we're just running through the field and you could choose like your party members, right? So these discussions are exclusive to the 3 out of 6 characters that you choose. So this was something random that happened because I chose the 3 females as my party. Like the little girl Charlotte, who's like in fully clothed, was like, "Aren't you guys cold?" And
That's great.
And Angela's like, "Oh, it's not easy. It's not this easy being fashionable or something like that." Or and it was just like, yeah, she
That's
brought
pretty
attention
funny.
to it, and yeah, it was just funny, and because I was thinking the same thing, and then she said it, so stuff like that, I really appreciate.
That makes me think. I think it'd be a really funny mechanic, like where how they try to like make challenge modes for games, where like how in Kingdom Hearts people are like, oh, if you equip this thing, you only have 1 HP or something like that, and you can't level. They should do that with like skimpy outfits. To be like, oh, if you really want to keep an entire party of like scantily clad ladies, you have to keep them all at the lowest level and try to beat the game that way.
Yeah, you got to work hard.
They get more clothed as they level up, so you gotta actually like do the opposite.
They get more clothes as they level up.
At the end, it's just like a Stay Puft Marshmallow situation.
And other than that, I played The Fox Awaits Me. That review should be on the site too. It's about this this fox that awaits you, and that's all I'll say about that.
Well, okay.
I immediately know everything about the game.
Yeah,
Let me
thank you for the
clarify.
insight, Azario.
Let me clarify. It's a fox girl, guys.
Oh,
Now you know what to expect.
gotcha. I see. How about you, Jake? What have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing 2 indie games. The first one, this review should also be on the site. It's a game called ITTA. It's a bullet hell like game. It's like a bullet hell boss rush kind of. It's all made by one person. It's a pretty short game, but I don't know. I really enjoyed it. You're like this little girl who like wakes up in this like astral like garden with like a bunch of weird creatures, and all of her family's dead. And then you just have to kill everything to like end the world to reset things or something like that. And I don't know, it was really cute and charming. Not cute, but it was like charming. And it was actually really dark, like the story, but I was like super invested in it. Like I said in my review, it was like an indie like movie that you go and you sit down and you watch it for like 2.5 hours, and then you're like,
cool.
And you're like, what the fuck just happened? But like also you're really into it, you know? And it like leaves a lot of questions, and, like makes you think. That's kind of what the story of ITTA was like.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, so it was a bullet hell where I enjoyed the story like more than the bullet hell action.
That's kind of interesting. Yeah, you wouldn't expect like a really intense story from something like a bullet hell game. Because the whole point of a bullet hell game is the mechanics of a bullet hell game.
Yeah, and like the bullet hell stuff was good too, but it was the story that kept me going. And I thought it was funny because the developer probably knew that, because there's literally, you can just go into the settings and turn on invincibility and just like win, all the fights and stuff, just to like see the story out if you wanted.
That's nice.
So
I call that baby mode. Oh,
I mean, it is baby mode to its finest.
the
literally
ultimate baby
cannot
mode.
lose at that point.
That's good. Accessibility is nice.
Honestly, I feel like more games should do it. Like if there's a lot of games that are very like cinematic or like they're very story driven, and you don't want to go through all the BS, you could just watch it. They do it for Kingdom Hearts, where they're like, oh yeah, all you need to know about this one game is just watch this like 2-hour movie. You're good. You don't have to play it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. That was cute. It was a lot shorter than I thought it would be. It only has 18 bosses, and it's like only bosses, so it took me like 3 hours, and I finished it, and I was like, oh, that's it. I remember like Azario gave it to me, and like the next day I was like, yo, I just beat that game. And he was like, really? I was like, yeah, me too.
Does the story at least like wrap up nicely? Like, did you were like, wow, that was a really unsatisfying ending sort of thing because of how short it is?
I found it satisfying. It was very, like I said, indie. Like it was very like, all right, that was artsy,
Yeah.
So it doesn't like, it definitely makes you ask more questions than it gives you answers. But I don't know. I really liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun, a good story and all, So yeah, so I played that, and then what I'm playing right now is I'm just wrapping up my review, and by the time this goes up, the review should be out. It's a game called Moving Out. Which is like a local multiplayer centric like puzzle game, basically.
Yeah.
About like a moving crew, like moving houses and furniture and stuff.
I completely forgot you were reviewing that.
That's one of those like like silly physics co-op game sort of things, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I also kind of forgot it was coming out, and I was just like looking at the upcoming releases, and I saw that it's releasing on like the 28th.
Yeah,
and so that's why I messaged you, Azario.
There was no PR push. That's a Team 17 game.
Yeah,
there was no PR backing for that game at all.
I feel like I saw something about it in like a Nindy Direct or something. Like I had seen that game before.
Yeah. And then that was it. No press releases.
Yeah. Right. And I don't know. I was like, it looks fun. So I saw that it was coming out. So that's why I requested it. And so I just finished it like an hour ago, and I'm working on my review right now. But it's pretty good. It didn't blow me away. It's definitely a couch co-op game. You can play it single player, but it's like a lot more fun with people. I sat down, my girlfriend and her mom, and the three of us played, and it was a lot of fun. We played for like an hour and a half.
That's cute.
It's like one of those games where the hijinks is what makes it fun, right? Or when you're
Right,
with
for
other
sure.
friends. Yeah.
But it's also like like at first it's kind of like Overcooked, it's sim publisher and all that. But where Overcooked, like when you first start, it's just like all laughs and like, oh my god, how goofy is this? And then it gets like hard, and you are just like screaming at each other.
Okay.
Even though it's like a co-op game, it's like, move the couch, because it's all time based.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
have a certain amount of time to do it.
And then you slowly get frustrated with how bad your friends are.
Yeah, exactly. And then so I played like the first 10 or so missions. There's 30 levels. And I played the first 10 or so with them, and then I played the rest of them all by myself, and it was still fun, but it wasn't as fun. And like I ran into like a few moments where like my character would get stuck and I have to like restart the level, and I don't know. It plays like the same song the entire time, so it's like I want to just listen to anything else other than that song. So like, it's good for what it is, but it didn't blow me away.
What's wrong with that? Tetris plays the same song over and over again.
Yeah, but that's a great song.
That is
Exactly. That's a bop.
Okay, but to be honest, that was due to their limitations of the time.
Yeah.
It came out of Russia. What did you expect?
Yeah, that's about all I've been playing, other than Animal Crossing, and every time I get a spare 20 minutes I play Persona 5 Royal, but slowly make my way through that game.
Good luck.
I feel like Animal Crossing also has that same issue where you just listen to the same song over and over again.
Unless you unlock like hourly music, in which case there's 24 different songs.
Yeah, I saw that every hour there's a new song.
Yeah, but
It's
still,
interesting.
it's not. They're pretty much the same song.
Yeah, they are. When I was doing our review, I wanted to choose one, and I was like, "Are these all the same?" But I think
you got to just put a bunch of like stereos through your whole island and just play different songs.
I think I went with
all the different KK music.
Yeah, just have a different KK music per island's area that you create. How about you, Victor? What have you been up to?
Well, I did 2 games for review. I did the DLC for Savage, Journey to Savage Planet, Hot Garbage, and yeah, that one, like, okay, so when I first started Journey to Savage Planet, I was like I'm not gonna lie, I was like bored out of my mind. I'm just like, oh great, what did I get myself into? Because I'm not too into games where it's just like you just walk around like these maps and like and look for stuff to do. It's just like,
like No Man's Sky style stuff.
Yeah. And then it turns out, the reason why people like it are actually good reasons, because like the more you play through, the more you collect stuff. Like, the level design is like really layered, and like there's backtracking to do when you get new, jetpacks and whatever, blah blah blah, and like exploding stuff to open new entryways. So I was just like, oh cool, now I'm looking forward to this DLC, because it's all gonna bring it together, like all the backtracking, all the cool new discovery stuff. But like it just turns out that it's just kind of separated. Like you go to the teleporter, you go to the DLC map, and then like everything you earn there is just used there. And then when you go back to the original levels to like see, like, it's just like, oh, do I get those cool booster rings now? And like all that stuff is just like, no, they're very separated, and like it's still fun. Yeah, it's still fun and all that stuff, but it was just kind of weird how like you play this entire game earning upgrades, getting new tools, and then like the world opens up and like none of that's translated to like this additional DLC stuff. So it's like it's still fun. So
I had no idea that game even had DLC, because I reviewed that back in January for the other site that I work at, and I really liked it. I mean, it didn't like blow me away or anything, but it was a lot of fun. And I had just no idea there was DLC.
That's pretty much the vibe of the whole review. It's just like, this game's great, but why didn't the DLC add more? So
yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So there's that's coming out probably way before the episode goes out. What is it? Oh, the Deliver Us the Moon which
Oh, yeah.
leaves embargo. So I can just give you the premise of that. That's just like post-apocalyptic, like all the Earth's like resources are depleted. So like this company is just like, okay, we're gonna send out a mission, go find something else, and like there's like this backstory of like that mission went like critical, it went bad, and then humanity almost went to on the brink of extinction, stuff like that. So now you're like this lone small team trying to reissue the mission again and like try to go out into the moon, find resources, stuff like that. So I remember talking to developers at PAX East and really cool guys, and like one of them was telling me a story about how like because it's sort of like a walking simulator ish kind of thing. There are like some environmental puzzles or whatever. Like you interact with the environment and try to get through the sections to keep progressing the story and stuff like that. And they say they were influenced by things like The Last of Us, of how like you interact with the world and stuff like that. Joel grabs a dumpster or whatever and moves it over. I don't know, but but like I do look forward to that. Like just seeing like it's like let's take let's get inspired by some like good game mechanics and like translate it into like this this sci-fi sort of thriller kind of apocalyptic story. So that looks neat. I look forward to it. Other than that, freaking what? Call of Duty.
Yeah, Call of Duty.
I have been playing this game with my friends. My friends are notorious for liking shitty games. And so we've been playing this game called Don't Even Think. It's like this battle royale, but like it's sort of teams-ish where you can choose to be a werewolf and you have to eat a bunch of people to get their blood, and then like your bloodlust goes up and then you turn into a werewolf and then you start like effing other people up. And while that's happening, there are just regular people with like, it's just standard, pick up guns and start shooting stuff. So like while you're shooting other teams and try to be the survivor, you also have to worry about werewolves eating you to death. And it's all like super clunky. Like there's zero anti-aliasing, so everything looks like sandpaper. And like and like if you get sometimes when you get swiped by a werewolf, you fly halfway across the map. Like it's just really buggy and really bad. But like we can't stop playing it. It's just like it's so bad it's good kind of stuff. So
like one of those like fun type of buggy where you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, that's so weird.
And it's also so BS that it's hilarious that when you're just like, oh man, I worked really hard, I got this leveled up shotgun and like all this, and like I'm good to mess up, and then like you get like, because the werewolves don't have to attack each other, they're all attacking humans, and then you just get you just get like triple teamed by like a bunch of werewolves, and they're super strong and hard to kill. So
That's
Yeah.
pretty great.
That's what I've been playing.
I'm kind of into it. I might check that game out. That sounds awesome.
That's all right, 2 for 2. Everything I recommend, Brian wants to play.
Yeah, I mean, well, as Azario says, Brian is a connoisseur of shitty games. So.
Yes, he is. What are you playing, Brian?
Shitty games, Azario. Let me list them for you. Because Nintendo Switch was having like some sales, and so I was like, all right, if they're only like $1, I'm just gonna, just throw some money away and see what games are out there. So one game that I bought was Super Blackjack Battle 2 Turbo.
Jesus Christ.
And it's
that sounds amazing.
And it's literally just blackjack, but it's set up in a way that it's kind of like alluding to the Super Nintendo's like Street Fighter 2 Turbo. And so you could pick one person, like a character to play as from a country, and then you go through this gauntlet of playing blackjack against people from like other characters from around the world and stuff. And so your life bar is basically just how many chips you still have while you're playing against them and the dealer, and you're just basically trying to not lose all your money before the other guy. So it's pretty quick to like do, and it's not particularly hard. But it's kind of like a fun like kill time thing. I think it was only like $1. So if people have $1 to throw away and just want to look at a stupid haha blackjack game, check that one out. Another game I purchased was called Feudal Alloy, and that one is it's like a roguelike Metroidvania sort of thing where you're a robot knight that where your head is like a fishbowl, and your body is like the suit of like a suit of armor, and you go through these dungeons slashing at things with your sword to unlock money and stuff like that. I skipped the beginning of the story because it was going very slow on like who your character is and why you're doing what you're doing. So I need to go back and check that out. I just remember the beginning bits. You're taking care of older robots in a old robot retirement home of some kind, which is weird in itself. But I've been having a good time with that game. That one's actually pretty fun. Other than that, I've been playing Knights of Pen and Paper 1 and 2. Really good game that I haven't really gone around to actually sitting down and diving into. But now that we're in quarantine, I'm just gonna play it all the time. And so what that is, it takes a lot of inspiration from Dungeons and Dragons, where you're a party of 5 with different classes and stuff like that, and then you have a dungeon master on the other side of your table, kind of narrating the story, and it plays out like a JRPG where you just level up your characters and you do turn-based combat and stuff like that. But it's got a lot of like just cheeky humor and a lot of references to nerd culture and stuff like that. And so that's a lot of fun as well. And for the site, I forgot to mention this last week. I did a review for a game called A Fold Apart, and that one, it's kind of it's like a cute artsy puzzle game where the story is like talking about a couple who are struggling with a long distance relationship, and the game kind of reflects that by having you do these paper origami type puzzles where you're trying to get one of the people to from point A to point B, but in order to do that, you have to like flip a piece of paper and rotate it and like fold it so that it can the platforms line up and stuff like that. It's pretty creative, but the mechanics were kind of buggy, which is why I gave it kind of a lower score. I gave it a 7 out of 10, I believe. It's just because I feel like it's one of those games where it was like it didn't really have to be a game. I feel like it could have been just made into a short film or something, and it would have been equally good. Or if they put a little more thought into how like the game would actually play, because the gameplay itself was rather boring.
Damn.
Yeah.
People were giving that game a 9, dude.
Nah, man. I mean, I get why they would give it a 9. Like, I for me, it's just like I didn't have fun playing it. I like the story. I just didn't have fun playing it.
Is it because they're SJWs? Is that why?
I'm not gonna say it. And no, I shouted it out. I thought it was neat that they introduced that thing at the beginning where you could choose what the gender of the couple are. I thought that was cool. Okay,
It's cool. I'll agree with you.
I got called an SJW today.
Really?
Yeah,
Wait,
on the site because Jacob reviewed a Yuri visual novel. He gave it a low score. It just wasn't good, and somebody in the comments was like talking crap on the review, saying that he gave it a 4 out of 10. He backed it up. He backed up why. Like I would have went to him and been like, hey, this doesn't sound like a 4 if I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
And he's reviewed Yuri visual novels before, like Seabed gave that a 9.
How does that equate to you being called the SJW? I feel like it'd be the other way around if someone's like, this is a Yuri hater.
Story.
I'm telling a story right now, Brian. This is when you shut the fuck up and listen.
Sorry, I'm just really intrigued with the situation.
Again, we don't have an HR.
So I'm in the comments just shooting the shit with everyone, being like, you don't know what you're talking about. Listen, okay, so people say that the reason why he scored it so low is because he's not a fan of the other developers' games. But let me tell you something, that is not his fault. A developer should not pigeonhole themselves into one certain genre that in order to be a fan of, you have to be a fan of everything else. That's terrible game design. That's a terrible way. That's a terrible way to base your whole like well, how are you going to grow? How are you going to improve?
Yeah.
If you didn't take the criticisms from your first game and apply them to your second game, what did you do? You know, they're just saying, well, if you would have played the other Yuri visual novel, Nurse Love Addiction and Nurse Love Syndrome, you would know that this is just how they do games. And saying that as an excuse for developing a terrible game, that's not a good
Right.
excuse.
Yeah.
That's so when people say that to me, I'm just like, whatever.
Because that doesn't mean the game is good.
Yeah, like okay, so because I didn't like he probably wouldn't like their other games either. And honestly, I didn't either. I would have given Nurse Love Addiction probably a 5 or a 6. The game looks pretty, but it sucks. It's you can't have a visual novel and then fail at the visual novel portion of it. You know, you can have a pretty looking uh package, but if what's inside sucks, who the fuck cares what the package looks like? Uh it's 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 terrible for fans of any genre to defend a developer for not learning from their previous mistakes.
Mhm.
It's shitty for critics to review games and give it a high score just because they are politically in line with them. You know, it's the same thing, you know, like you got to be honest. Like that's just what it takes. And if Jacob's being honest, he would have given it a 4 out of 10. You know, if he was swayed by me, I don't know. I don't know what he would have given it. I gotta pay the
comment.
Better
Leave
score or worse
comments.
scores?
I gotta pay the bills too,
This-
guys.
But who called you
Dude.
the SJW?
Yeah, that doesn't
So-
answer my SJW question, man.
Bob.
Okay.
Is this Bob Mack? Did
Bob
he do
Mack.
that? This angry
Bob Mack.
guy?
He's
He's very mad.
He's very mad. I'm not on the page, so if you're on the page, you can read it.
I am.
Yeah, go ahead and read it for us, Jake.
Okay,
That's the
so
best Bob Mack impression.
so Jonk said, Lamau, this person clearly doesn't get visual novels. And Azario said, I would disagree and say if you looked at his previous reviews, you'd know you are wrong. And Bob Mack said, piece of shit, SJW. To which Azario just said, ha 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 ha.
I love Azario's response to like haters and shit. It always cracks me.
Oh, and then also Bob Mack said that this review is the end result of letting a man review a Yuri visual novel.
Yeah.
So
Now, I don't want to step on Mark's toes because he has some plans for our haters, but that's a segment right there where we read some people's hate comments.
We have been collecting them. They are in a collection.
I love that he commented so many times. This one guy.
Yeah, and I'm just loving it because it's helping our Alexa rating by people returning.
Oh man.
So thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, to Bob. Cheers.
To Bob.
Yeah, water.
But anyway,
What else do you guys want to talk about for this podcast?
we could talk about games that we have never played but wish we played again. I'm always down to talk about that.
Yeah, that's a good one. So Victor, you weren't here. Mark suggested this as a segment of games that we wish we played in our childhood, that we regret not having played in our childhood, basically.
Oh, that's good. I have a lot. But more recently, this one was triggered by Azario. He triggered me. Him showing off his picture of Parasite Eve reminded me that I never played the second one. I think I saw some of it. And the weird thing is that we have it. In fact, I think I currently have it in my possession, just not all of the discs. I think it's 2 or 3 discs.
Yeah.
But I have it. I never pressed buttons that it told me to press, so technically I did not play it. So that's one. And
That's like more than half of my collection.
and I think I told Zaria this. Like I played most of the first one. I played some of the PSP one, and for some reason I somehow skipped 2. So that's one. That's one that I always wished I buckled down and played when I was younger.
Nice.
Is it my turn?
Sure, Azario.
I would say Gears of War.
Oh,
That's
I
a good
never,
that's on my list too.
I have never played any of them.
You're not messing much.
one.
They always look like Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
They all look like those old toys, like the big feet and big,
But
big arms.
just covered in like blood.
And like I was like, man, this can't be cool. These like Masters of the Universe toys. So that's why I never played Gears of War, but I hear it's a good series and people get stoked on it.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll get around to it someday. Maybe if they do a full remaster on the Xbox Series X, I will play it.
Mm.
I'm gonna tell you a story of my time playing Gears of War 2 multiplayer, at which because it's like 4-on-4 multiplayer sometimes, and when you kill someone you can't respawn. So all my teammates got killed, and I was the only one left. I'm gonna make this really quick, and I just did a bunch of weird BS and killed everyone on the team, and everyone was like, "Oh!" So I decided to throw out a SpongeBob reference, and I said "Victory Screech," and everyone in the lobby went. It was probably one of my greatest gaming moments of all time. So.
That's an awesome
It's awesome.
experience. Did you retire after that? I would have put the game down. I would have quit the game after that.
Yeah,
Never returned.
I immediately turned off all the lights and everything I owned, and I went to bed until you
Just-
called me and asked me if I
just-
wanted to join Noise Pixel.
just jacked off after that. Had a full. Just turned off all the lights, lit a candle, and
Yeah, full Winnie the Pooh.
Were you there?
Oh god, I want to counter for every podcast to see how many times Azario can mention jacking off
Oh man,
in the show.
Just little count. I want our audience to have that counter go.
Are we counting euphemisms, or he has to plain out say it?
the 80 to 100 people that listen to us a week.
I'm sure one dedicated listener will do it for us if we ask them nicely.
Yes.
Yeah. For me, so the N64, I basically like skipped that console altogether because one, like my parents couldn't really afford to buy it for me, and I wasn't really into it anyways to begin with because I didn't really care too much about video games at the time. But so one game that I really wanted to play on it was Banjo-Kazooie because people keep saying it's really, really good, but I've never played Banjo-Kazooie. And there's a lot of like games that like it's inspired, like like Ukulele and like A Hat in Time and stuff like that. And so I'm just like, oh, I wonder, like how good Banjo-Kazooie was. These other games seem pretty neat.
It's not that good.
No, not that good. Not missing out.
Oh, I love Banjo.
Dude,
Is it one of those ones that's like it's just better in like memory than it actually is?
when you're playing
Maybe.
it, you're just like, might as well just play Mario 64 because it's better than this.
That's the other thing. I've never played Mario 64 either. Though.
Oh dang!
Okay,
I've actually recently played it on Xbox Game Pass, and it was a holler, but it was like good for like that hour to like be like, oh yeah, check this out.
I feel like 3D platformers like that were really of their time. Like I haven't gotten into a 3D platformer since I was like 10. You know.
I think Jack and Daxter was probably where it ended for me.
Yeah.
Actually, I did enjoy that new Ratchet and Clank, but they've never returned to it since then. So whatever. But I did enjoy.
They're probably going to though.
Hopefully.
I hope so. I really liked Ratchet and Clank. I liked being able to revisit it in like a higher resolution.
From what I heard, that game sold really well. So
yeah, I think the movie flopped though.
The movie flopped, but that game was $20 at launch. Like I was riding home, and this is when I had to pay rent, and I was in school, and I had a shitty job. So I was riding my bike home because I didn't have a car. So it came down to, am I going to have enough money for rent this month? But
Ratchet and Clank
is only $20. Like, so I ride past this GameStop and I decided to just buy Ratchet and Clank, and I did end up paying rent that month. So
Nice.
win.
I mean, that's true because Ratchet and Clank, when it like the remake cost as much as it cost on the PS2 when it came, like how much you could buy it on the PS2. So it's the same cost, and you get a better, nicer looking version.
Yeah.
Good game. Good game. But yeah,
I never finished the series though. They had like 4 games.
Got a little weird.
Oh, they had lots of games.
Because I just remember, what is it? The Ratchet and Clank, and then there's Up Your Arsenal, and then some other. Tiny
There's a bunch of like
names.
spin-offs kind
Yeah.
of in that series.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But what about you, Jake?
So I think for me, I always wanted to get into this, but I was afraid I would get like addicted as a kid. But like Vanilla WoW, like
Oh,
I really wish. I don't know. I feel like I really would have enjoyed it when I was younger
yeah.
because I haven't been able to get into like MMOs recently. Like ever since I don't know. Just recently, I can't do it. But when I was a
Because
kid,
they're
I
shitty
spent yeah. But just when I was a kid, I used to spend so much time on like online games and stuff, and I
Mhm.
feel like I really would have liked Vanilla WoW, and I could have been like a part of that World of Warcraft culture or something. Not I don't know if that would have been a good thing or not.
That's true. I think the culture is what made me feel like I really missed out on Vanilla.
Right? Yeah.
It's because all the stories people tell about it. Like they redid it, so now like WoW, like classic WoW's back, and I'm just like, it just looks like a shittier WoW.
Yeah,
Like I know the mechanics are like different, and there's like stuff that they changed about it, but it's just so hard to look at.
there's just like a whole culture behind that game that I just
Mhm.
I don't think I'll ever understand.
Yeah, I feel it.
So yeah, I wish I could have gone. I wish I could go back in time and play that.
Mm.
Be an MMO nerd with Brian.
Yeah, be my MMO buddy. There's dozens of us.
Oh gosh, I don't even know what's popular for MMOs right now. Like,
Final Fantasy 14, so good.
oh right,
Everybody's
So,
just playing.
so good.
Is ESO
Guild Wars
still
2
a
is
thing?
still around. ESO is still releasing content and has like a solid fan base. I don't know about like new people joining it.
Fantasy
And
Star.
I never joined the ESO train to begin with, so I'm like kind of like whatevs about it.
Azario and I played that beta for Fantasy
Fantasy
Star or whatever.
Yeah. We suck at MMOs,
Good time.
dude.
Yeah.
I just wish there was an MMO that didn't require so much commitment. Like, can I just play for like an hour or two a night and like just why do I have to stick to
You'll
it?
be left behind.
yeah.
Telling you, best MMORPG, Mabinogi by Nexon. Greatest MMO ever created.
I don't know if he's joking, but
I'm not. I love Mabinogi. Like, it's such a good MMORPG. It's so underrated. People really need to play it more, and it's free.
I'll take your word for it.
Man, I just want a Club Penguin reboot.
It's the president.
I want a Neopets reboot, man. Give me a Neopets
Exactly.
reboot.
Oh,
Draw me some
MMORPG.
Neopets.
Yeah, MMORPG Neopets, man.
Oh man, I'd be all up on that. Well, any closing thoughts before we end this podcast?
This one time I was skating when I was younger, I was skating down the block, and I was always a poser skater. I couldn't really do tricks or anything. I used to ollie up curves, but now I can't ollie to save my life. But I was skating down this street, and this kid who I didn't know, it was just like some neighborhood kid. He's like beckoning me. He's like, "Hey, come over here!" And I was just like, "I don't know, who is that?" So I go over there, and he's just like, "You want to grind my rail?" And anyways, and
Hell yeah.
and I was just like, oh, I don't really know how to skate. And they're just like, it's okay, it's low, and like I already waxed it. And I was just like, okay, that's sure. And then like I go in and I wipe out like really hard, like I slam my elbow on the concrete and everything. And this kid shouted no less than 6 times in a row, really fast, "Don't sue me! Don't sue me! Oh, don't sue me! Don't sue me!" And I was like, what? Why would I sue you? I'm the one who decided to play on your rail. And he's just like, I was like, I know, but my parents been sued already. Don't do it. And I was like, oh my god, what kind of household do you live in?
Dark.
And that's my story.
Nice. Anybody else want to list a story, like a similar story to
I
that?
just wanted to play the role of Azario for the night, so
Okay.
telling random stories.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening to another episode of the Noisy Pixel podcast. I hope you guys are all staying safe out there. If you want to listen to more, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, or do things on iTunes. I don't know how iTunes podcast works. The iTunes one, and Google Play and Spotify. And if your reading is more your style, be sure to check out noisypixel.net. There's tons of articles on there, from news to reviews to interviews, previews, everything video games, and it's all good. Well, I hope so. I hope it's all good. I've only read some of it, but it's okay from what I've seen. And if you want to reach out to us about the podcast, you can hit me up on email at Brian, Brian, at noisypixel.net. And be sure to check out our socials. I could just go on for 6 minutes listing all our socials, or you can just go to the website, noisypixel.net. It's in the top right corner. It's right there for you. All of
Thanks,
it.
Brian.
But yeah, thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Boy.
Bye, guys.